What if I told you one of the best explanations of shadow work recently didn't come from a psychology book? It came from K-Pop Demon Hunters. Hidden beneath the demons, the music, and the action is one of the clearest portrayals of shadow work I've seen in years. It's the story of a young demon hunter, Rumi, hiding the one secret she believes would cost her everyone she loves. That's not a story about demons. That's a story about shame. By the end of this video, I think you'll see Rumi very differently. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel, Diary of a Shadow Healer. I'm Starshade, and this is the place where your shadows find their voice. If this video ends up resonating with you, I really hope that you'll tap on that subscribe button for me. All right, let's begin. One of the biggest misconceptions about shadow work is that it's about becoming darker. It isn't. Shadow work is becoming aware of the parts of yourself you've rejected, the parts you've hidden, the parts you've convinced yourself make you less worthy of love. Those parts don't disappear. They simply wait until we're ready to face them. That's exactly what we see happening with Rumi. When she hears,
Celine, do hunters kill all demons?
Yes.
So everything that has patterns?
she doesn't just hear a statement about monsters. She hears a statement about herself. And that's how shame is born. Children aren't born believing they're broken. Children don't create shame. Adults accidentally hand it to them, sometimes through criticism, sometimes through fear, sometimes through expectations they could never meet. Eventually, the child begins asking a dangerous question. If this part of me is bad, maybe all of me is. That belief becomes part of their identity, not because it's true, because they learned it before they were old enough to question it. Once we believe part of ourselves is unacceptable, we do what nearly everyone does. We build a mask. Carl Jung called it the persona, the version of ourselves we believe the world will accept. For Rumi, that means becoming everything she's expected to be. Perfect, composed, successful, confident. The legendary demon hunter everyone admires, all while hiding the one truth that she believes would destroy everything. The irony is that the harder we try to hide the shadow, the louder it becomes. Because what we suppress doesn't disappear. It leaks. It shows up in anxiety, perfectionism, defensiveness, fear of being exposed. The persona may fool everyone else, but it never fools the unconscious. As Rumi's carefully constructed identity begins to unravel, the film gives us something unexpected. Not another fight scene, but a song that captures exactly what Jung described.
This is what it sounds like.
The emotional heart of this story isn't the action, it's the song. This is what it sounds like. Because the lyrics describe exactly what happens when the persona begins to crack.
Nothing but the truth now.
That's the moment hiding becomes impossible.
I am the worst of what I came from. Patterns I'm ashamed of.
Those are the parts of ourselves we've buried. The habits, the fears, the beliefs we've spent years pretending don't exist.
My head was twisted.
The inner conflict between who we are and who we think we're allowed to be.
My heart divided.
Psychologically, that's fragmentation. One part reaching toward authenticity, the other desperately clinging to acceptance.
My lies all collided.
That's the collapse of the persona. The moment the identity we've constructed can no longer contain the truth underneath it. This isn't just a powerful song. It's a psychological map of what happens when someone begins confronting their shadow. Most people think healing means defeating the darkness inside them. Shadow work says something very different. The more we fight the shadow, the stronger it becomes. Because rejected parts of ourselves don't disappear simply because we refuse to acknowledge them. Healing begins when we stop asking, how do I destroy this part of myself? And start asking, what is this part trying to tell me?
I just want to talk.
Talk? You were supposed to be dead by now!
That's the journey Rumi ultimately takes.
Fix the world and make it right. When darkness finally meets the light.
She stops trying to erase parts of herself and she chooses to face it.
You think you can fix the world? You can't even fix yourself.
I can't.
To accept it.
Everyone finally sees you for what you really are.
They do.
To become whole instead of divided.
And the whole moon is gone.
It is. So we can make a new one.
This is the moment where I think K-Pop Demon Hunters reveals what it's really been about all along. For most of the movie, Rumi believes she has two choices: hide who she is, or lose everything. That's how shame traps us. It convinces us there are only two possibilities: hide or be rejected. That's exactly what happens when we reject our shadow. We divide ourselves. One part becomes acceptable, the other becomes the enemy. And once we've decided part of ourselves is the enemy, we spend an incredible amount of energy trying to defeat it. The tragedy is, the harder we fight those parts, the stronger they become. The shadow doesn't disappear because we declare war on it. It simply waits. It waits beneath the surface until eventually it demands to be seen. That's why shadow work isn't about destroying the shadow. It's about understanding it, learning why it exists in the first place. Because every shadow began as a survival strategy. Every shadow was once trying to protect us. Near the film's climax, Rumi finally stands before Celine and does something she's avoided the entire story. She stops hiding who she is.
No denying it now. This is what I am.
Honestly, this is the moment that gave me goosebumps. She faces it. She faces it with honesty. That's the turning point. She changes because she finally stops abandoning herself.
This is what I am.
That's integration. Jung believed that wholeness wasn't achieved by becoming purely good. It was achieved by becoming whole, by acknowledging every part of ourselves without allowing those parts to control us. That's what Rumi finally does. The part she'd spent the entire movie trying to hide becomes part of her strength, not because it changed, but because her relationship to it changed. I think that's why this scene feels so powerful. We've all spent time fighting parts of ourselves. We've all had something we hoped nobody would discover: a mistake, a fear, a wound, a personality trait, a memory. Something that quietly whispers, if people knew this about you, they wouldn't love you. So when Rumi finally stops running, something inside us stops running too. For just a moment, we're reminded that healing isn't becoming someone else. It's becoming someone we're no longer afraid to be. Maybe that's why this movie connected with so many people. Not because of the demons, not because of the music, not even because of K-pop, but because nearly every one of us has believed some version of the same lie. If people knew this about me, they wouldn't love me. That's one of the oldest fears we carry. And it's exactly the fear shadow work invites us to challenge. Because healing doesn't happen when we become someone else. It happens when we stop abandoning ourselves. So before we wrap up, I want to give you one shadow work prompt. What part of yourself are you still hiding because you believe it would cost you love? Sit with that, because the answer may point you directly toward the shadow that's been waiting for your attention all along. The shadow isn't asking to control your life. It's asking to stop being abandoned. Maybe that's why Rumi's story feels so personal, because somewhere inside all of us is a part that's still wondering, if people knew who I really was, would they still choose me? Shadow work doesn't answer that question by asking us to become perfect. It answers it by reminding us that the parts we've rejected are often the very parts waiting to be loved. And before I forget, I told my daughter Lilith that I would tell all of you who my favorite character in the movie was. It was Derpy. I wish I had a little Derpy stuffed animal, but I don't. At least not yet. I will someday. Remember, this is the place where your shadows find their voice. And if this video resonated with you, I really hope you'll tap that like button for me. I'll see you in the next one.